The mysterious explosions in Moldova's Transnistria region, a Russian-backed breakaway territory near Ukraine, that raised the threat of a wider conflict. Transnistria is a small strip of land with fewer than 500,000 people that declared its independence from Moldova in the early 1990s, with support from Moscow. It has a repressive government, heavily dependent on Russia, and hosts hundreds of Russian troops and a large ethnic Russian population. In April 2022, a series of explosions shook different parts of Transnistria, sparking fears that the war in Ukraine could spill over into neighboring countries and escalate into a broader conflict. The blasts targeted the state security headquarters in Tiraspol, the capital of Transnistria, and two Soviet-era radio masts in the village of Mayak. No one was injured or killed by the attacks, but they caused significant damage and panic among the locals. The authorities in Transnistria blamed Ukraine for the attacks, accusing it of trying to destabilize the region and provoke a military response from Russia. Ukraine denied any involvement and accused Russia of orchestrating the blasts as a pretext for further aggression. Moldova, which still claims sovereignty over Transnistria, said the explosions were still under investigation, but suggested some evidence pointed to Russian involvement. The explosions raised concerns that Transnistria could become a new front in the war between Russia and Ukraine, as Moscow has expressed its intention to secure its access to the breakaway region and protect its interests there. Transnistria occupies a strategically important spot on Ukraine's western flank, reaching within about 25 miles of Odessa, Ukraine's chief port city and a potential target for Russia's expansion along the Black Sea coast. Some analysts have warned that Russia could use Transnistria as a base for attacking Ukraine from the west, or as a bargaining chip in negotiations with the West over the future of Ukraine. Others have argued that Russia has no interest in escalating the conflict in Transnistria, as it would face strong resistance from Moldova, Ukraine, and their allies. The explosions in Transnistria have highlighted the fragility and volatility of the region, which has been frozen in a state of limbo for almost 3 decades. The international community has tried to mediate a peaceful resolution of the conflict between Moldova and Transnistria, but with little success. The region remains unrecognized by any country except Russia and its allies, and faces economic and social challenges. The fate of Transnistria is closely linked to the outcome of the war in Ukraine, as both regions are part of Russia's sphere of influence and ambition in Eastern Europe. The explosions have shown that any instability or violence in one area can have serious repercussions for the other, and for the security and stability of the whole region. The allegations of false flag attacks by Russia to provide a pretext for sending more troops to Transnistria and seizing southern Ukraine. Transnistria is a breakaway region of Moldova that is controlled by pro-Russian separatists and hosts about 1,500 Russian troops. It is located between Moldova and Ukraine, and has been a source of tension between Russia and the West for decades. In late April 2022, 2 explosions rocked a radio facility and a security building in Transnistria, causing damage but no casualties. The authorities in Transnistria blamed Ukraine for the attacks, claiming that they were part of a plot to destabilize the region and provoke a war. However, Ukraine and its allies accused Russia of being behind the explosions, saying that they were part of a false flag operation to create a pretext for invading Ukraine. A false flag operation is an act of deception that is designed to look like an attack by someone else, in order to justify a response or an intervention. According to U.S. officials, Russia had pre-positioned a group of operatives in Transnistria who were trained in urban warfare and using explosives to carry out acts of sabotage against pro-Russian rebels. The U.S. said that Russia was plotting to stage more false flag attacks in Transnistria and in Ukraine, to allow Moscow to accuse Kiev of preparing an attack on Russian-speaking people and to justify sending more troops to Transnistria and seizing southern Ukraine. Ukraine's defense ministry said that similar acts were being prepared against Russian troops stationed in the breakaway Transnistria region of Moldova. It also said that Russia was planning to use Transnistria as a springboard for an offensive against Ukraine's southern regions of Odessa, Mykolaiv and Kherson, which border the Black Sea and have strategic importance for Russia's access to the Mediterranean. The allegations of false flag attacks by Russia raised concerns that Moscow was planning to expand its conflict with Ukraine, which began in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea and supported separatists in eastern Ukraine. The conflict has killed more than 14,000 people and displaced millions. The allegations also followed a week of intense diplomacy between Russia and the West, which failed to resolve the crisis or ease the tensions. Russia has amassed more than 100,000 troops near Ukraine's border and demanded security guarantees from NATO, such as a ban on Ukraine's membership and a withdrawal of NATO forces from Eastern Europe. The US and its allies have rejected Russia's demands and warned of severe consequences if Russia invades Ukraine. They have also offered support to Ukraine, including military aid and cybersecurity assistance.